Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Tyler McNabb, and this is Project 400EX Refresh. So I think this is episode 10 or 11 now, but anyway. But in the previous episode, as I talked about, this thing blew a head gasket, so we tore it down, and pretty sure that the head gasket was blown on this side, and I can't remember if I talked about it or not in the last video, but basically, this cylinder is an old cylinder that I had on my quad that I also blew a head gasket. And so what we're pretty sure happened is, as you remember from the original series, this guy, it did pull out, and so we put a helicoil in there. And then now we think this one was pulling out, which caused the head gasket to blow on this side. So basically what it's come down to is this cylinder. We're 99% sure that this is the original cylinder that actually came on my quad. And I know pretty much the majority of the people that owned the quad before I did, and it's pretty much been raced most of its life. So we're pretty sure this cylinder's just kind of, just fatigued. And so that aluminum's just, from expanding and contracting so many times, that aluminum's just gotten fairly weak. So we're just it's due for some help with those threads in there. So I talked to my buddy, and we've decided that he's just going to go ahead and try to put another helicoil in this one. This front one seems to be holding. It's not pulling out or anything, but this one over here probably is. So going to go ahead and helicoil it. And a lot of people, I think, like I talked about in the last episode, I was going to try to convince him to do head studs. And he doesn't really want to do that, but I understand, because this isn't his his main sport that he does. Like I've said before, he races sprint cars, so all of his money pretty much goes towards that. Because if you've owned a quad or raced a quad, that's expensive. Well, now tack on 7 more cylinders for the engine, and yeah, it gets a lot more expensive racing those. So I don't blame him for not wanting to sink a whole bunch of money into it. So we're going to go ahead and do this, put a helicoil in today, and then for some reason, if it would go ahead and pull out, then after that we'll probably just go ahead and he's got another cylinder that he can upgrade later. If this one blows a head gasket, then he'll go ahead and put some heavy duty head studs in it. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and do that, and hopefully in this episode we'll try to get the whole thing back together and maybe get it running. So let's get right to it. Okay guys, well, we got this hole over here drilled out, tapped it, and then got the helicoil inserted. So I did a quick time lapse of that. Not really going to do a how-to. If you look up how to put in a helicoil. There's hundreds of videos out there of people already doing that. So, plus I probably don't do it, you know, necessarily the correct way. I'm not a machinist, I'm not a professional mechanic, but I do it and it works. So anyway, yeah, got that in. Got the stud back in as well. As you can see, these side studs are supposed to be just about level, or they're supposed to be the same height. So make sure if you ever do go to helicoil one of these, that these are the same height. This one's like the second highest, and then this one's your highest. So anyway, got that in and should be ready to go. I put some Loctite in there just to kind of hold that in there and make sure it's good to go. But yeah, pretty much all that's really left to do with this thing is try to slap it back together and run it. That's pretty much it. So I'll pretty much probably time lapse for the rest of the video here, putting the head back on, getting it timed, and all that fun stuff, since I've already gone through that in detail. So let's try to get this thing back together and see if we can get it running. Okay guys, so rather than boring you with throwing all the gas tank, carburetor, box, all that fun stuff back on, you've seen that probably at least 4 or 5 times on my channel, whether working on this quad or my quad. So, you know, figured I'd just skip that and get right to the good stuff. So I got this thing all back together, and she's pretty much ready to go. So switch over to the GoPro real quick and see if we can get this thing to fire up. Here we go. Okay guys, so just took this thing on a quick test ride up and down the road, and she seems to be running really good. So hopefully we won't have to deal with tearing into the engine anymore. Hopefully those helicoils will hold really good, and none of the other studs will, or none of the other threads of the studs will pull out. So yeah, that's a common issue with these things. A lot of people, when they get bigger head studs, a lot of people may think there's kind of a misconception that the actual head studs are stretching, but it's not actually the head studs stretching. What it is it's the aluminum threads inside the cylinder pulling out is what it is. And so by putting a helicoil in, you're just putting stronger threads because you're putting you're putting steel threads instead of aluminum, so it kind of holds it in place a little bit better. But then the oversized head studs do help a little bit in that department because they're bigger, which means there's more surface area for that head stud to grab onto. So I mean, yeah, they're both improvements is what they are. So, you know, the oversized head studs are probably a little bit better, but you know, that's just the way it goes. So, yeah, hopefully this thing is good for now, and then maybe here soon, come fall, his sprint car season is about over, and my race season is slowly coming to an end. We've got at least one more race towards the end of the year, and then maybe hit another one or two just to finish out the year. But then hopefully this fall I'll get to do some riding once they get the corn out, and then he's got some property at his house that we ride on every now and then. So maybe you'll see this quad again this fall when we do some riding. So anyway, I'm gonna probably go ahead and end off this video here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the plastic seat and everything buttoned back up on this thing, and this thing will be ready to go back to its owner. So I appreciate you guys watching. I guess I never mentioned it in a video, but I think I'm at 200, just about 230 subscribers now. So I passed the 200 mark, which is really cool, and just want to thank you guys for coming back and watching. Really appreciate it. I enjoy doing it, but if there's nobody watching it, then there's no reason to do it. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.